Hello everybody, welcome to the Empressive channel. Cardi B and her husband Offset threw shots at Wiz Khalifa after Wiz responded to a comment about Cardi winning a Grammy before Nicki Minaj. And Azealia Banks chimed in and started dragging Cardi. Now, before I get into this whole messy story, I do want to talk about what led up to this. The Recording Academy recently released a list of the nominees for the 2021 Grammys, and a lot of people have been in uproar about the nominations because some pretty major artists were snubbed. For one, The Weeknd had 0 nominations. Even though The Weeknd's album After Hours was one of the biggest albums of the year, and his single Blinding Lights was one of the biggest songs of the year, he still did not get nominated for a Grammy. And he did react to being snubbed. He said, "The Grammys remain corrupt. You owe me, my fans, and the industry transparency." This right here is one of the many reasons why the Grammys oftentimes have mixed reviews. There are a lot of deserving artists who never get nominated or rewarded, and oftentimes it's because of shady politics. If the artists don't kiss up and bow down to the people on the Grammy board, they don't get acknowledged. If artists don't have a relationship with some of these people on the Grammy committee, they don't get acknowledged either. So it's really a shady game that they play. And I heard the reason why The Weeknd wasn't nominated is because some of the bigwigs at the Grammys were upset that he chose to perform at the Super Bowl. They wanted him to perform at the Grammys instead, and because The Weeknd wouldn't bow down to their demands, they snubbed him on purpose. So it comes to show how corrupt some of these people in power are. And this is what the former president and CEO of the Grammys, Deborah Dugan, was talking about. She exposed the Grammys for their corrupt practices, and it has affected a lot of artists. And while I believe that a lot of artists who have won Grammys deserved it, there are a lot more who have been snubbed and disrespected, especially hip-hop artists. People like Biggie Smalls, Tupac, Busta Rhymes, Snoop Dogg, Nas, J. Cole, DMX, and Nicki Minaj have never received a Grammy, and these are all hip-hop legends. Also, Diana Ross, the boss, has never received a Grammy throughout her whole career. She was given a Lifetime Achievement Award out of guilt. And the same thing goes for Bob Marley. They gave him an award out of guilt because they did not acknowledge him throughout his career either. So the Grammys have always been on that BS. And don't get me wrong, I am happy for all the other artists who have been nominated and who have won in the past. But there are a lot of them who have been snubbed. Tiana Taylor even pointed out all the female R&B artists who have been snubbed this year, like Summer Walker, Brandy, Her, Victoria Monet, Ari Lennox, Tinashe, and Tiana. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Now, Nicki Minaj spoke up about the Grammys and recalled the time when she got snubbed for Best New Artist for her album Pink Friday. She said this in a tweet: "Never forget the Grammys didn't give me my Best New Artist award when I had 7 songs simultaneously charting on Billboard and bigger first week than any female rapper in the last decade. Went on to inspire a generation. They gave it to the white man Bon Iver." This Grammy snub has always been a sore spot for Nicki Minaj because she had a very successful year, but she wasn't acknowledged for that success. Not only that, Nicki was blackballed by the Grammys producer Ken Ehrlich because of the backlash she got from her controversial Roman Holiday performance. So this is why Nicki has never received a Grammy. And oftentimes when this is brought up, people can't help but bring up the fact that Cardi B got a Grammy before Nicki. And a lot of Nicki's fans believe that Cardi was given an award to spite Nicki. So there has been this ongoing conversation about Cardi B not deserving her award. Cardi was even accused by this company called the Academy Music Business of buying her Grammy. They alleged that Cardi's label Atlantic bought her Grammy, and the CEO of the company also posted this on his story. Here's how Atlantic Records get artists on the Billboard charts and radio. They buy streams, which forces the songs onto the charts. Radio has a set chart list to play. Labels call stations and offer giveaways, interviews, etc. for more spins. After this, they buy award votes. Cardi B, you owe me an apology. Press, 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 press. Cardi bought a Grammy and press. So petty. Now, Cardi went on Instagram Live and she clapped back at the claims that she paid for her Grammy, and she called out this company for allegedly scamming artists. This is what she said.
But this person, for some reason, his tweet went viral because people that don't like me, because he uses the Grammys, he uses the Grammys name and shit. He uses the Grammy name to get people's traction on Twitter. But this guy is really a scammer. Not part of the Grammys, never helped one artist ever in his life, don't have no credentials. And people keep saying this, and there's been an argument for the past 2 years. Oh, Cardi, oh, about my Grammy and everything. And let me tell you something, right? I don't understand. When I was first nominated in 2018 for 2 Grammys for Bodak Yellow, right? And I lost them. That was 2017 was my year, right? And I lost it. So I don't understand, right? Since y'all claim so much that my label be buying shit for me, why they didn't buy me the Grammy when I first lost both of them? And at the end of the day, there were other 2 artists in that category that are part of my label as well, and they lost it. It is what it is. You cannot take away that I had an amazing album. You cannot take away the fact that I had an amazing album. The album was just trending on Twitter 3 days ago because y'all was saying how great the debut of it. And on top of that, you guys barely bought the other artists in the category's album, except for Travis Scott. So it is what it is. And then people be like, all right, so why you keep defending it if you don't feel guilty? Because that hurts. Because I work my ass off for that. That's why. So when you trying to accuse me of something that I worked so hard for, that it was so emotional. When I won my Grammy that night, I was crying in bed. I got on my knees in front of Offset and my family, just thanking God. So when y'all are upset at the fact that maybe one of your favorite artists that didn't win a Grammy before, that wasn't my fault. If one of your favorite artists never won a Grammy before, it's not my fault. I was never nominated with them. You need to be mad at the person they lost it to, not me. I was never nominated with them. So why y'all want to be always upset with me? That shit is annoying. I could tell you this, though, that it's not bought, and I could show y'all.
So that was Cardi addressing the claims about her label allegedly paying for her Grammy. And Cardi also clapped back at Wiz Khalifa when Wiz Khalifa responded to a tweet about Cardi getting a Grammy before Nicki. This Twitter user said, Cardi winning a Grammy when Nicki Minaj didn't is the biggest proof that they don't know nothing about music. And Wiz Khalifa said, most self-made artists have this problem. And Cardi got upset and responded to Wiz and said, this N was in my DMs in 2016. They really support you when you grinding at the bottom. Then it's a different story when you make it. And she posted this DM she got from Wiz Khalifa saying this: you got your cause and you're sticking to it. Don't stray away from the things that are important to you and make you you. You're doing a great job, and the way you address things is admirable. Keep your light shining and don't let others take it. Peace and love. Cardi went on to say, I don't understand why dudes entertain tweets that pit successful women against each other. You're not tired of that, especially when you was rooting hard when a B was at the bottom. Cardi's husband Offset also said this in response to Wiz Khalifa: dudes be HOEs, shake my head. Now, Wiz Khalifa did backtrack on his comments, and he responded to Cardi and said, dang, that was good advice. I still support you. Nothing's changed. You're self-made in my book as well. And someone called Wiz out and said, now you want to switch up after you just said that she wasn't self-made? First they love you, then they switch. He said, never said that. They both work very hard. Wiz also said, I just don't want a Cardi Wiz war going on for no reason. Honestly, I don't think Wiz was shading Cardi. I think he was just randomly venting about the Grammys because he too felt like he was robbed of a Grammy, and he was just randomly tweeting about it. And honestly, I think he was high when he was venting. That's just my opinion. But what he said was harmless. I don't think he was shading Cardi B, but Cardi took it that way, and she took it upon herself to clap back at him. And when she was clapping back at him, Azealia Banks came out of the blue and she went off on Cardi. She said, now it's putting successful women against each other. But when literally everyone was putting Nicki down just so you could shine, you had nothing to say because someone else's misfortune benefited you. I hate a disingenuous B. Go to H-E-double-L. Azalea also said another thing, Cardi. Stop pretending to be so offended that people are rightfully saying you ain't self-made, because in your heart you know for a fact that it's true. We all know Atlantic went around shopping for someone to put against Nicki, and you weren't even a first option. Now, what Azalea is saying is true, because if you remember, there was a UK artist named Lady LaSure who claimed that Atlantic Records offered to sign her if she dissed Nicki Minaj.
You turned down £250,000 to not diss Nicki Minaj.
It was just, I don't know, man. It was just weird. I got a weird vibe about the whole situation. The fact that you only want me to do a diss record. That's how you want to break me. You don't want to break me because of my talent. You don't want to break me because of how I sound and what my style's like. You just want me to take down another female rapper. And that was something I felt a bit, I will never do that, because that's something I've always been against. I've always been female empowerment, all that. Like, it's all about the girls, you know what I mean? So it just didn't sit right.
So Azalea brought up a good point. Atlantic Records did offer to pay Lady LaSure to diss Nicki Minaj, and it's widely believed that Cardi was paid to go up against Nicki as well. Azalea also said, like, I'm genuinely tired of this B always playing the victim and always running to IG Live crying anytime someone calls her out on her mess. When will you open your eyes and see that you are the problem, Cardi B? Now, Cardi's sister Hennessy came to her defense and said, people need to stop blaming my sister because someone lost 10 years prior to other artists. A whole decade later, my sister wasn't even around for. Invasion of Privacy was a bop from first to the last song. They were all gold or platinum songs. We are from the Bronx, home of the hip hop. We've been listening to hip hop since birth and actually live and about this life. How you expect her not to put out heat? Azealia Banks responded to Hennessy and said, I want to know what happened in the last year or so that made this liquor bottle and her sister suddenly start being scared of saying Nicki's name. I'd really like to get to the bottom of that. Azalea is so petty, but listen, this is what I think about this whole mess. I think the Grammys are corrupt. I do believe that Nicki was robbed. She definitely should have gotten a Grammy in her career after all the success that she has had. I also think that Cardi deserved a Grammy for Invasion of Privacy, which is an unpopular opinion, but I do think she deserved a Grammy too. I have no issue with the artist winning. I have an issue with the establishment. It's the Grammys that's the problem. And I think artists need to stop holding the Grammys to such a high regard if they're going to continue to disrespect and snub deserving artists. Anyway, tell me what you all think about this video down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you care. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.